Well guys, good news, bad news. We got white stuff all over the place, still falling out of the sky. So unfortunately the car isn't going out today. The good news is I got another project for the Gallardo. And it's a perfect day for it. So I'm really excited about today's install and review. I've been trying to get to this for a while, so we're just going to jump to it. If you own a Gallardo of any year, you know one of the things that leave a lot to be desired with these vehicles are these factory shift paddles, and today we're going to change that up. They're just that little hockey stick, plastic dog leg. You kind of end up shifting with about 2 fingers. You can't really shift from underside the steering wheel. They're just really lackluster aesthetically and as far as user friendliness goes. And up to this point, there hasn't been a whole lot available on the market. You may be able to find some used stuff out there. The KLA shift paddles used to be popular, the Aventador style. They've been out of production for a while now. I've seen a lot of people, you get the little carbon extenders that go on here as well. And as far as I'm concerned, those still don't really fix the problem. Aesthetically, they're not very pleasing either, and in my opinion they're really overpriced for what you get. So I'd seen these in development for a while, and let me show you what I got. So if you're any of the Gallardo Facebook groups, you've probably seen these in development and posted by Gio. These are from rev10performance.com. These are his Aventador style shift paddles that he had developed. Now I've been watching him for quite a while, doing a bunch of R&D on these and going back and forth, getting just the right angles, the right finish for them. I had to get a set from him once he had these things out in production, and here they are. Super cool pieces. I've got them backwards here, but so this is what you get. These are aluminum, nice lightweight, but a good weight to them. They're powder coated finish, and they almost have a little bit of a soft touch feel to the matte finish. So I think these are really aesthetically pleasing. They're going to look factory, unlike some of the larger stuff or some of the aftermarket carbon stuff that you can get. So this is what we're going to be installing today. I'll put a link down in the description. And as far as I'm concerned, for the price, these pieces can't be beat. You're going to spend half as much as what you're going to spend on these just for those little carbon extenders that go on the factory shift paddles. And like I said, these are a night and day difference compared to those. So we're going to tear into it real quick. I've never been further in the car than beyond replacing the steering wheel, which we did late summer, early fall. So it'll be a little bit of an adventure for me as a rookie, so we'll see how difficult the install goes. The first part here will be a repeat of a lot of the steering wheel video, since we're messing with that airbag, and anytime you play with electronics, go ahead and disconnect the battery, kill power to that, then we'll move inside the car and work on disconnecting that airbag. With the battery disconnected, we'll hop in the car. We're going to insert the key, turn it into the on position so that we can manually manipulate the steering wheel. Just like before, you've got 2 T27 Torx hiding right in here that are holding the airbag on. We'll get this one out, spin the steering wheel 180 degrees, and we'll pop the other one out, and then we'll be able to pull that airbag free and get that disconnected. Like I pointed out when we did the steering wheel replacement, keep in mind you may or may not have a little plastic cover that you have to remove to access these little Torx. Mine are and have been missing since I've owned the car. I do want to point out, keep in mind, those torques don't come all the way out. They stay in the steering wheel, so you don't have to worry about losing them. So don't keep spinning them and get frustrated that they're not coming out. Once you get them loose, your airbag is loose, you're able to pull it out of the way and get in here and access that little clip. Just squeeze down on that, pull it out, and now your airbag is free. Now again, we're going to get in here. We got that 12-point triple square, and that's how we're going to disconnect and undo the steering wheel. So if you don't yet have one of these, this is the 12-point triple square I'm referring to. I believe I paid like $12.50 for this one off of Amazon, and they're a perfect fit in there. Bites really good. And I've also seen guys use a 3/8 hex bit as well. Seems to fit in there and bite pretty good. These can be kind of snug. I wouldn't want to risk personally stripping or rounding anything out, so we're going to get the 12 points so we make sure I'm biting at all 12 points. With the retaining bolt out of the way, we're able to give it a slight wiggle. It is splined, and we're able to pull the steering wheel off, and now we can set that out of the way. So next we've got two T15 Torx. They're kind of holding these side covers on here. We're going to get these pulled off and out of the way. Now it's important to note, when you start prying on these, we need to be forceful yet gentle at the same time, kind of like the old coolant hoses we just replaced. This stuff gets brittle in ages. I don't know if somebody had this apart before. You'll notice some of the little clips and stuff are already broken. I've got a little bit of a gap here, the things that hold things together. It's kind of an inherent risk when you tear into something like this. Just know that you may be up against something like that, and unfortunately you might snap one and end up with a little gap here or there in this process. Unfortunately, finding these or replacing them isn't exactly cheap or easy. So there's kind of up on the back corner of these a little bit of a clip, so we kind of want to push down on these and squeeze till we can get that to kind of pop loose from the back side here. It's kind of like so. We'll give it a little wiggle. Almost got it. Just take your time, be patient with it. Like I tell everybody, the key with these cars is to not get in a hurry and be patient. I actually found it helpful to get in here with a trim removal tool to help pry just a little bit. Be gentle but firm. You can see these kind of slide under here, and then the little clip here just kind of pushes in here. Then we can snake these out of the way. Now the key with these side pieces will be to remember to reinstall them on the new paddles before we put them in, because they will not snake off these old paddles in the same manner. You won't be able to put them back on. So don't forget that, otherwise we'll be doing it twice. Alright guys, so next we're going to try and pull this piece off. I'll try and explain it to you and then see if I can film what I'm doing. You've got two little clips here just above the bolt holes. Those kind of pop out real easily. And then hopefully you guys can see it right up here on top. If you come in here, there's another little plastic clip right on here. Kind of pull out and down. Kind of just push slightly down and out, and that kind of pulls and releases that little tiny clip there. And then you've got two more on the sides. Like mine was fairly separated, it's probably already broken. You've got these little here, and you're gonna have to get in there and squeeze on these to release them somehow. I'll probably have to do that on the other side. If nothing else, you might be able to get in there with a trim removal tool. Just kind of squeeze right in that little general vicinity and push that in to release that piece. And with those released, we should be able to just lift this right up. Mine just kind of fell off, but you've got those three little pieces holding right into there. Just little alignment dowels is all that is. So we'll have to make sure we align that back up when we put it back in. But for now, we can set the top portion out of the way. And now we have access to everything up top here that we need to for the shift paddles. So next we're going to work on removing these little metal plates that hold the shift paddles in here. You notice the right kind of overlaps the left, and we've got a bunch of tiny little T8 Torx. that hold these on, and then you've also got a tiny little T8 underneath that actually holds this whole mechanism into place. Keep in mind as you remove these, there is a tiny little bit of spring pressure under these because there's a little spring roughly in this vicinity under each one. So as you remove those last couple, kind of squeeze that together so things don't spring apart on you. So again, I'm going to start with the right because it overlaps the left. Be very delicate with these because I have fat little fingers and these are tiny little screws and I don't want to lose them. Little dowels that hold these on, so just kind of give them a gentle little wiggle, and there's that tiny little spring under there that I was telling you about. So hopefully you guys can see this okay. I'm going to leave that bottom 8mm in place. I'm just going to attempt to replace the paddle in the car. I don't really see a need to pull that all the way out. I could get it on the bench and show you guys better footage, but I'm going to attempt to do it here in the car. So these kind of have a little dowel here. Just kind of gently going to wiggle that up. Now be careful because the little piece right in the very end here is spring loaded. So have your finger right there so that doesn't come shooting out and all over your garage. You would be completely screwed if you lose that. So now that's out, I'm going to go ahead and pull this one out on the bench. Came out no problem right here in the car. And we'll go ahead and swap this around and get the new one installed. So now that I've got the factory out here on the bench alongside the Rev 10, you're really able to get a good comparison between the two shift paddles. What a night and day difference. And to me, these actually, the Rev 10 actually feels slightly lighter than even this factory piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of silicone lubricant inside of here. Not a whole lot, but I'm just going to squeeze a little bit in. Obviously it's pretty clear. You've got the nubbin on top there where your top and bottom is. So we're going to pull this little piece out of there. Like I said, be careful. Keep in mind there is a tiny little spring attached to that. And we're going to make sure it goes in and it's oriented just the same going in there as it came out of this one. Alright guys, so we've got the roller bearing reinstalled into the new Rev 10 shift paddle. This is the crucial step where you want to put these pieces back on and snake things in here before you attempt to put that back in there. And now it's going to be important to put a little bit of pressure on that. You have to collapse that in there. Hopefully you guys can see. You got to line that little alignment dowel. Put a little bit of pressure back on this as you snake that back down into its home and ever so gently wiggle things down into place. Like so. Now I'm going to go ahead and tackle the left side just the same as we did the right here. So with the new shift paddles installed, we're going to go ahead and work on installing the little plate covers back in, working in reverse order from left to right. You see there's a couple little alignment dowels back here for the left side. We'll install that, then the right, since it overlaps, and all our tiny little T8 torques. We will work on lining these back up and getting them snapped into place. Just like so. And then we can reinstall our two little T15s. Making progress, guys. We're 90% there, and as of now I can already tell you I'm 100% pleased. These things look absolutely amazing. They are a perfect match. This looks like something that should have came and could have came factory in this car. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and get the wheel back in place. Get things just aligned up. I forgot to mention, before you pull it apart, I like to use a little Sharpie or something. Just make some alignment marks so you know things aren't gonna be cattywampus. Get things at least close. And then we can get our nut reinstalled and tighten back down. Once your wheel is tight, we can reinstall the airbag. Clip it into place. Reinsert it. Get things lined up, and then we're gonna twist the steering wheel again so we can get those two torques secured. Almost there, guys. With the airbag back in place, the only thing we have left to do is reconnect the battery, and then we can bang through the gears a little bit. Like I said, unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to take this thing out and drive it today, but aesthetically, what an absolute night and day difference. I couldn't be happier. I will point out real quick, now that I've got those out of the car, I don't know why, I always thought that the factory shift paddles were plastic. They're not, so I don't know if those are aluminum or cast or whatever they are, but anyway, like I said, there really isn't much of a difference between the two. The Rev 10 paddles actually felt a tad lighter, maybe it's just me, than even the factory paddles here. So anyway, we'll get that battery connected. Don't forget, once you've disconnected that battery, like I've said before, unfortunately you have to reprogram your keys. And anytime you disconnect the battery, I had somebody freaking out one time and reached out to me, you will have your ESP light on. You got to drive the car and I'll block or two every time I do it, and then it goes off. So don't freak out when you see that on the dash. Well, here we are, install officially complete. I couldn't be happier. I got lots of room and clearance. Granted, I have small, stubby, girly fingers, but ergonomically, these things are perfect. I'm able to shift from the bottom side, the top, you know, shift through the gears without issue. They don't interfere with the wiper stalk or the light stalk. I really am happy. You know, like I said, just sitting here in the car in the garage, just you know, shifting through the gears, they very crisp, good feel to them, good weighted feel to them. Really happy. Can't wait to get this thing out and drive. I'm able to shift with more than one or two fingers at a time, wherever my hand and placement may be on the wheel. The R&D that you spent on this, you really got it right. Couldn't be happier. So there you have it, guys. That is my full install and review of the new Rev 10 Performance Aventador style shift paddles. Like I said, couldn't be happier. They look right at home. They look completely factory. Ergonomically, they function phenomenally. I can't wait to get this thing out and drive it and enjoy it. This is one of the final projects I had here before springtime comes. So if you guys are looking for a worthwhile upgrade and you own a Gallardo, as far as I'm concerned, these are an absolute must-have. It's a night and day improvement. Support one of your local Facebook group members and support small business. Reach out. Again, that's rev10performance.com. Link will be in the description. Check them out. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys on the next video.